There's a kind of loneliness that doesn't scream. It doesn't sit in the dark, crying, or stare longingly out a rainy window. It shows up with a smile. It answers texts. It laughs at jokes. It goes out on weekends. And still, it aches. This kind of loneliness lives in group chats, in Instagram stories, in casual conversations where no one really asks how you are, and no one really expects you to say the truth if they did. It's the kind of lonely you feel when you're sitting in a room full of people, and somehow you've never felt more invisible. It's hard to talk about, because how do you explain a feeling that doesn't look like sadness? How do you say I feel alone when, technically, you're not? That's the loneliness no one talks about. The quiet kind. The kind that follows you around like a shadow you can't shake. Not dramatic enough to cry over, but heavy enough to wear you down. And maybe the scariest part is you've gotten used to it. We live in the most connected era in human history. You can message someone on the other side of the world in seconds. You can video call your friends while scrolling through hundreds of other people's lives at the same time. You're never really offline, and yet somehow you feel more alone than ever. That's the paradox no one prepared us for. That being available to everyone doesn't mean you feel close to anyone. We've mistaken constant contact for emotional intimacy. A like on your story, a reply with a heart emoji. It gives you the feeling of being noticed, but not necessarily the feeling of being known. We're drowning in communication, but starving for connection. It's like we've built this digital noise around us, thinking it would fill the silence, but all it did was muffle the part of us that still aches to be understood. We scroll, refresh, repeat, hoping someone will say something that makes us feel less alone. But the more we scroll, the more disconnected we become. And the worst part? It doesn't feel like loneliness at first. It just feels like boredom, or numbness, or like something is missing but you can't quite name what it is. So we keep reaching out in shallow ways, hoping someone will reach back in a deeper one. But when everyone is performing, curating, posting the best version of themselves, no one really says, I'm not okay today. And if no one says it, it starts to feel like maybe it's just you. But it's not just you. This is the loneliness no one talks about. The one that hides inside 100 tiny notifications. The one that shows up when the Wi-Fi signal is strong, but the connection still feels weak. There's a strange emptiness that comes with conversations that go nowhere. You say, how are you? They say, good. You? You say, busy. They say, same. And that's it. We speak to each other every day, but it's like we're only skimming the surface, never truly diving in. It's not that we don't want to connect, it's just that we're scared. Scared of being vulnerable, scared of being judged, or maybe scared of realizing how disconnected we actually are. So we settle for safe conversations, the kind that fill the silence but never really fill the soul. We laugh at the same memes, talk about the same shows, complain about work, say, we should catch up soon, and then go back to our routines, still feeling like something's missing. And no one ever says, hey, are you really okay? Because we're all playing the same role, pretending we're fine even when we're not. It's hard to admit you're lonely when you're always surrounded by chatter, but not all noise is connection. Sometimes the loudest part of your day is the silence inside your chest, when no one sees the version of you that's quietly hurting underneath the autopilot. And when every conversation feels rehearsed, when every reply feels automated, you start to wonder if anyone really knows you anymore, or if they ever did. We crave realness, but in a world that rewards performance, honesty starts to feel like a risk. So we hide behind smiles and status updates while the loneliness lingers in between every LOL, every same here, every "yeah, I'm good." Loneliness doesn't always look like being left out. Sometimes it looks like achievement. It looks like someone who has everything together, someone who's always productive, always busy, always admired from a distance. But when the noise fades, when the work is done, when the inbox is cleared, when the likes stop coming in, there's an unsettling quiet that creeps in. A lot of people are lonely in lives that look successful, because from the outside, you're thriving. But inside, you're tired of performing, tired of being the strong one, the funny one, the reliable one, tired of the pressure to be okay all the time. You hit milestones and no one claps the way you hoped they would. You achieve something you've been working toward for months, and the joy doesn't land. You tell people your news and they say, "That's great," and then move on. And deep down, a part of you whispers, "Did anyone actually see me?" We don't talk about how isolating success can be, how the higher you climb, the harder it becomes to open up. Because what do you say? "I feel lonely," when everyone thinks you're winning. And so we stay quiet. We keep achieving, we keep checking off goals. But in between the celebrations, there's this low, persistent ache. The feeling that something's missing, even if you don't know what. It's a different kind of loneliness, one that's not about being alone, but about feeling unknown. And when your life is full on paper, but empty in your heart, that's when it hits the hardest. There was a time when conversations felt different. They were slower, softer, less filtered. You could sit with someone and talk for hours, not about trends, not about opinions, but about feelings, about life, about fears. No distractions, just two people, being human. But somewhere along the way, we stopped doing that. Now everything feels rushed. We text instead of talk. We share updates instead of stories. We're always multitasking, half in the moment, half somewhere else. And real conversations? The kind that leave you feeling lighter, seen, understood? They're rare now. Maybe it's because vulnerability takes effort. And in a world that moves this fast, effort feels expensive. So we stick to surface level. We talk about plans, about work, about what we're watching, and we laugh, because laughing is easier than saying, "I feel kind of empty lately." No one wants to be the one who brings the mood down, so we keep it light, we keep it safe. And deep down, we wonder why we feel so far from everyone we know. Sometimes it's not that people don't care, it's that we've all forgotten how to open the door. We wait for someone else to ask the deeper questions, but what if they're waiting too? So we stay stuck in a loop of pleasant small talk. And even with people we love, we feel distant, like we're orbiting around each other, close but never really touching. And that's the kind of loneliness that hurts the most. Being with people, but still feeling like no one really knows you anymore. Somewhere along the way, "I'm fine" became a reflex. It's what you say when you don't want to explain. It's what you say when you don't think they'll really listen. It's what you say when you've said, "I'm tired" too many times, and no one noticed the difference. But "I'm fine" is rarely the truth. It's often a cover, a quiet way of saying, "I don't want to burden you," or worse, "I don't think you'd understand." We get so good at pretending that even we start to believe it. We stay busy, we stay productive, we smile in photos, and no one ever questions it. Because if you look okay, you must be okay, right? But actually, that's the trickiest kind of loneliness, the one that's invisible, the one hidden behind competence, the one that doesn't ask for help because it's afraid of not being taken seriously. It's exhausting always being the strong one, always being the person who holds it together for your friends, for your family, for everyone but yourself. And after a while, you stop hoping anyone will check in. You stop waiting for someone to say, "You don't have to be fine all the time." But underneath that strength is someone who craves softness. Someone who wants to be asked, not what's new, but what's real. Someone who wants a space to fall apart, even just a little, without feeling like it's a failure. And maybe the hardest part is you're not even sure how to let anyone in anymore. So you stay in that in-between space, surrounded but unseen, loved but not fully known, strong but quietly aching. And the longer it goes on, the more it feels normal. The more you wonder if this is just what adulthood is supposed to feel like. If you've been listening and quietly thinking, "That's me," you're not the only one. The kind of loneliness we've been talking about isn't loud. It doesn't come with dramatic goodbyes or empty rooms. It comes quietly, in the middle of friendships, inside group chats, between the lines of "I'm good, just busy." It shows up in moments when you're surrounded by people, but still feel unseen. It lingers in the silence after a busy day, when everything slows down and you realize how long it's been since someone really asked how you were, and meant it. But just because it's silent doesn't mean it's rare. You're not broken for feeling this way. You're not strange. You're just human. This kind of loneliness doesn't make you weak. It just means you're craving something real, something deeper than algorithms and perfectly timed replies. And the truth is, we're all carrying a little bit of this ache. Some of us just hide it better. So if you're feeling it, don't shrink. Don't convince yourself it doesn't matter. Don't keep wearing the "I'm fine" mask when what you need is someone to say, "Me too." Sometimes, even just knowing someone else gets it is enough to make you feel less alone. And if this video has done that, even just a little, then maybe, just maybe, that's a small reminder. You were never truly alone to begin with.